This content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
No.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of SeptumSin vs. the World. I'm SeptumSin. Yeah, I've got my microphone a little bit closer to me today because I've gotten my voice a little bit back, but it's still a little bit shaky. I'm still coughing a lot and I'm still very much under the weather. I'm kind of glad that I pre-recorded so many of those pickup videos from when I was well. But I really wanted to go ahead and do this review because I've written reviews on it, but I wanted to go ahead, so I'm holding this closer so that I don't strain my voice and I don't start coughing all over everything. So we're talking today about the recent release of Amityville Descendants of Darkness, another Phil Herman film. Of course, Phil Herman has been known recently, though he is a very interesting indie creator. He has done some really cool movies, responsible for Burglar from Hell, the Jacker series. But one thing I've noticed as of late is that he's very much done a lot of these anthology features, and I've seen a number of them. I've reviewed a number of them on this channel. You could take a look at a lot of them, and there have been some that have been really great, some of them that have been okay. I won't say not good. I'd say that even the lowest rated one would be one that is worth watching if you like micro-budget films and indie film.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
But this is one I feel like I need to talk about while I still have a little bit of that feeling for it. I really don't want to separate too far from when I watch the film, because then I would lose some of what I actually felt watching it, and that wouldn't be right. I'd just be reading off a script. So let's just talk about this a bit. So essentially this is a plot where we talk about weird things going on in Amityville, and this is kind of one that tells another group of stories, but this particular film is a great example of what should be done with all of the Amityville films out there. At least that's the message we get at the beginning. And, I roll my eyes at that. No offense to the creator or anybody, but whenever I see Amityville these days, I roll my eyes. And I've kind of given up on Amityville film collecting because it's so oversaturated and the quality is so low most of the time. I mean, I even did one. Yeah, I know. But this one is worth noting, and I don't want it to get lost in the crowd, which is why I'm making this review. It's a very bare bones review, so bear with me. Put it on like a podcast. Listen to me. Watch my tired and slightly feverish face as I review. But this is broken up into 5 parts. There's the wraparound, which is mostly, it's got some pretty good stuff in the beginning. A couple of cameos and stuff that the fundraiser had thrown in. and some pretty good ones. I mean, I really like the one at the reporter at the beginning. I think it's like funny, kind of advertising, almost the Kickstarter or Indiegogo. It's like, oh, well, I gotta get this, well, beans on toast tonight. Just this, I think it was fun. But I thought that was done fairly well, and it didn't take up quite what you normally see in this. And I say that as something for the whole of it. Because when you see these, I mean, the worst offender has been the Bad Ben series most recently, where you'll have like 5-10 minutes of the film where it's just donation person after donation person, and it'll just be like shoved in there like, there, that's how we got money for the film. And meanwhile, the film itself suffers. This is not one of those cases. And I do think that sincerely for the whole. Most of the wraparound is a woman reading out of a book of these stories. And I think it's done well. I think one of the last films I watched and did that was a similar one, but they just changed it to look more like almost an attic room, whereas the other one looked like more of a hotel room. But a very similar feel to it. So let's just talk about each of these shorts, because that's what these anthologies are, is about shorts. And to tell you the truth, they're all bangers in a lot of ways, in varying degrees, but I think they're all really good. So the first one is The Shed. So this is about people trying to find this buried treasure. They seem to be like they're up to no good type people, but they're finding this. And unfortunately, restless spirits are inhabiting the shed, and they get ambushed by it. I think it's a pretty straightforward one. I think out of all the ones there, it is the least complex plot-wise, but you don't need to be for a short. I think for a short film, this one actually is extremely adequate and does its job. It has some gore, it has some decent effects, the acting is okay, and it's actually a pretty fun romp, especially for those people who like some good quick gore in their films. The next one up is The Possessed Relic. Now, this is Spanish language short. We have had one, I think, in one of the previous ones of these that I've covered by the same director, because I feel like I've seen it before. And this one also was pretty cool about finding this chair, presumably from Amityville, this rocking chair, and it really changing things up. I like this director. He does a really good job of building a subtle underground feeling of dread and disturbing nature, and that to me does its job well for you here. Now, other than that, I mean, there's not a lot to it. They don't need a lot of... There's a basic flourishes here or there when it comes to their production value that makes it look decent and makes it look gory enough, but it's not as over the top as, say, The Shed with the effects work, and it doesn't need to be, really. I think it is very well done, and I think it holds place pretty well. Blood Moon over Amityville is probably the weakest of the ones here. This by no means means it's a bad thing. It's the weakest of the four main shorts. Now this one has a Cold Case coming back to haunt a man. Now I've seen this one before. I think the last time I had, they were talking about a missing person, and I do think that this one has very good production value, very good acting value. I think all of that is pretty strong for this director. I think, looking at the various locations and so on that we have, I think this does well. But I feel like the plot is a bit confusing. I feel like it's something that probably could have used a longer narrative to get across. I really think that the writing is probably the weakest part of this, and because it left me a little bit more confused, it's one I think will take a couple more watches before I truly enjoy it. Like I say, I think it's got a very strong foundation, but I do feel like out of the ones there, it was the weakest for me. Now, in the comments below, you can tell me about a little bit more on it. Maybe you can tell me more of the benefits of this one to help boost that up a little bit. Like I say, quality work, but I do feel like the writing, I needed more tightening of that for me. Like I said, maybe a few more watches will help. I plan to try and purchase a copy of this when I do have the money. I had to invest in some other people that I wanted to try and invest in first, but I do feel like I do want to try and grab a copy of this eventually. I was very surprised by this, to tell you the truth. But I wanted to get, a copy of Beast Mode. I'm pretty sure Phil Herman won't mind me plugging Joel Wynkoop's movie there, because I think that people should be getting that one as well. I do plan to do a review of that, but that's going to forthcome me not dying over this stuff. But I do plan to watch that as well very shortly. And of course, investing in Blaze Tudor's film, The Amityville Wizard of Oz. So, but next paycheck, if they're starting to offer Blu-rays and stuff, I will definitely want to put that as one of my high up things to get a copy of this. Because the end one is the best of all. I think that Echoes of the Damned is quite an amazing one. It's kind of a combination of things like The Shining, the Amityville Horror, and a little bit of The Burbs, to tell you the truth, about this couple that's moving into this house in Amityville, and there is a lot going on there. I'm not sure how I feel entirely. I mean, the first thing that I got out of this is that I want more. I feel like this is one of the more solid shorts I've seen from Phil Herman. I think that he is good at directing quality features. I'm not used to seeing him play like the simple, like, happy couple guy that's moving in. I'm used to seeing him play more of the end killer or some other types of characters, and I feel like this was well done. I love the actors in this, how they interacted, even some of the acting, though there were some lower points in this, they fit in, because even the slightly lower points made those characters seem a little bit more unhinged, and I think that worked out well for it in the end. I thought that it was shot beautifully. I also thought that it was handled quite well. Come to think of it, just to go back to the Possessed Relic, I'd say cinematography should have been talked about there, because it was amazing, the cinematography on the Relic. But Echoes of the Damned hit well in all areas. The only thing that it lacked was definition. I thought it did well for what it did, and for I think the longest running short on this, it needed that runtime to really hit home. But it's one I think that would have survived on its own. I still think that this could be another 127 hours where we go from a short, like there was on Doomsday Stories, to a full-on feature film. I think if this was hit with the same level of quality that it's hit here, give more nuance, maybe a little bit of humor with the quirky neighbors, maybe play up on some of the suspicions there, I think that this could be a real banger of a motion picture, of a full-length picture on its own. So to me, I give my props to this. This one gets the flower out of all of them as the best. So out of all of them, if I were to rank them, I would say that Echoes of the Damned is at the highest area, with Blood Moon over Amityville being the lowest, and I'd say the lowest rank is still a very solid film. So looking at the whole package, you've got yourself a amazing anthology, and probably one of the best ones that I have seen when it comes to these Phil Herman anthologies. I would say that it ranks right up there with those horror stories, horror tales that he had done a while back, because those were amazing ones too, and the attention to quality that we see here is even higher than I've seen in many of the ones in the past. So to me, if you're looking to get an anthology feature, you should check this out. I hope this has been helpful, And of course, if you were somebody, I guess I should end this with who would like the film. I don't like to give a rating necessarily, but I like to say who would be there. I think if you like these anthologies, you'll be blown away by this one. I really do think so. Especially if you're a micro-budget anthology person, you will be. And I think Amityville collectors, of course, you're going to be required to pick this up. But I think that there's going to be a lot of amazing things that you can find out of this. So if you want a copy, of course, I'm sure Phil Hartman will be eventually selling these on physical media, and I would definitely check it out. It's well worth your time. Well, that's about all I have to say on that. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, hit that like button. If you don't, well, you can downvote it if you want. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on the film are. Do you have a favorite Phil Hartman anthology film? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'm always curious. I've seen a number of them, and they're usually pretty solid pieces, but some are better than others, and this one definitely is in the top grouping. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. But we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
SeptumSin versus the world. It's that place for all the boys and girls. You'll feel real safe, you'll feel real warm. It's a cozy place to ride out the storm. SeptumSin. SeptumSin and his best boy Jake see the trends that scare us every day. Physical media is going to the side. Doctor streaming will rule